What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Trev, and I'm back with another video. And I wanted to discuss this video because I was getting my hair cut yesterday, and I was having a conversation with my barber about this Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane situation. Because, bro, I'm a big Gucci Mane fan. I grew up listening to Gucci Mane mixtapes. I used to bump Gucci Mane all the time before my Pop Warner football games. And I listened to Pooh Shiesty a little bit too, back when he made Back in Blood and shit like that. And I kind of have an idea of their relationship and the mindset of Gucci Mane as a CEO and as a rapper, and Pooh Shiesty as a rapper. So I felt I wanted to give my 2 cents on the situation because honestly, it's just another situation of ignorance overtaking logic. Because I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Pooh Shiesty had a nigga moment, bro. He had a nigga moment, and it's gonna ruin his life. It's gonna ruin his life because instead of thinking like a logical person, he just defaulted to hood nonsense, hood fuckery, and ultimately he won the battle, but he lost the war because nowadays, bro, things are done in a business aspect, and Gucci Mane understands that very well because he used to be a wild boy back in the jail and back in the day. He used to be going to jail. He used to be packing people up, and he used to be in and out of jail. So when he got tired of that, he decided to change his whole mindset. He decided to get healthy. He decided to lean more into the business aspect instead of just sipping lean and packing people up and being a hood dude. And it's paid dividends over the years. He's still very respected in the game. He's still a pretty good rapper, in my opinion. He's got some hits. He has his own label, and he's just grown up beside all that hood nonsense because he understood the fact that, bro, this shit has a short shelf life, and you can get packed up doing that nonsense, especially when you're reaching your 30s and older, like Gucci Mane is. Or I don't even know how old he is now. It's been a minute. But he understood that, and he's kind of reinvented himself, which I respect to the highest degree. Pooh Shiesty, on the other hand, not so much, bro. He won't even get a chance to do that because he ruined it all over ignorance and emotional feelings. Because a lot of these gangster dudes, they're mad emotional. And I've seen a lot of emotional gangsters, bro, because my parents, they grew up in Newark, New Jersey. They influenced me to some of that lifestyle, but they were always very positive role models. Like my dad was a firefighter, my mom's a teacher, my grandma's a teacher, and they always told me steer away from that kind of nonsense, steer away from the gangster lifestyle because a lot of these dudes they get a little bit of success or whatever, but they end up broke years down the line despite everybody riding them and being their fans because that lifestyle catches up to them, and there's only one way out of that: jail or a bullet. So I've lived by that code, and I kind of stay on the straight and narrow. And I've also had like OGs in my life tell me good advice to steer me away from this path. But Pooh Shiesty, not a knock on him, but he doesn't have that in his life. His dad committed the robbery with him, and his mom is co-signing the BS. So he never really had a chance to grow beyond that, despite having a multi-million-dollar deal and all that other stuff. And Gucci Mane, he's like a lucky anomaly. Like he just discovered himself and realized what he was doing was not constructive to himself, and he decided to change himself. But that's the difference between a CEO like Gucci Mane and just a regular hood dude like Pooh Shiesty. Because a lot of people are gonna give him that credit and say, "Oh yeah, he stood on business and he did this, this, and that." But honestly, he did the dumbest shit possible because he acted emotionally, he acted like a woman, and he robbed the person who is making him money, who put him on. And I can't even lie. I would never have a meeting with someone who's considered shiesty. I'm not gonna lie to you, but Gucci Mane, he tried to be a businessman and act in good faith, and that bit him in the ass. But it goes to show you, bro, nobody is trustworthy in this world. And even if he felt slighted, he could have handled it a different way because, he has an ankle monitor on. He's on parole. Why would you do these stupid things to risk your life just for the opinion of a bunch of niggas, bro? And the dumb part about it, too, like, this is a contract, right? You signed the contract, right? And even if you do all that hood nonsense and you coerce someone to sign your name and release you from that contract, it's null and void because you did some bullshit. And this isn't the 90s to where everything isn't documented. It's like everything is backed up on files. There's evidence, there's different factors involved, and you're just even more dumb doing that. Because if you had anybody intelligent in your circle, anybody who could have told you this was a bad idea, this would have been a moment to do it. If you had lawyers on your handle, they could have gave you advice how to legally handle this instead of just crashing out and now potentially risking your life and being in jail when you made a hit song as soon as you got out of jail and now you're going right back to jail with a bunch of grown-ass men, which is mad gay in my opinion. But this could have been prevented, bro. This could have been prevented. And even if you got a bad rap deal, bro, you should have known before you signed it. There's all these tools around to educate yourself, and you just decided not to do that. You just decided to listen to Pookie from down the street or whoever. And, that's not a knock on you. Maybe you didn't have those people in your ear telling you the right things, but it's sad to see someone in their early 20s throw their life away over something like this, something menial and something that doesn't even amount to anything, because you're still going to be on his label. You're still going to be paying him money. And it's like stupid. It's really stupid. And it goes to show you, like, if you act like a dumbass nigga in some situations, it doesn't even help you in any way, circumstance, or form. You got to be smart. You got to learn to be business savvy. You got to be like a 50 Cent, like a Jay-Z, because, they were hood dudes or whatever, but they learned that being a businessman is more cold. Having legal assets is way colder than just being a hood dude with respect and all that stuff. But that doesn't mean don't bring some of those traits to the table. That means, like, use those traits positively instead of negatively, because, like I said, going back to what my parents told me, a lot of these D-boys or whatever, you'll see them homeless on the street, and then they will point out, like, oh, this dude was once this dude was once that, but now look at him, he's a bum, he's a dumbass on the street. Get yourself a career, learn a trade, do things like that. And if you do get successful for something, expand beyond division. Like my cousin, if y'all don't know, my cousin is Malcolm Jenkins. He played in the NFL, and he's won 2 Super Bowls, and he also, like, has multiple businesses, and he's very, like, well-rounded. He does photography for the NFL. He's just a well-rounded person, and I grew up, like, looking up to him. He could have easily took that wrong path that other people do in the NFL, but no, he expanded himself, he expanded his community, and he was like a big role model to me growing up. So when I see something like that, and then I see all the hood nonsense people grew up around and how people can make it out, I get frustrated, and I also get inspired to do better, because I'm gonna do better for myself and my kids. So I gotta lead by example. I can't just be doing the nonsense. Like, even now I'm in a dormitory room in the military recording videos, and my kids will see this someday if I blow up or if I decide to show them, and they're gonna see a lot of my personality, a lot of what I instill in them started here. But there's a difference between being a gangster and a CEO. There's a difference between having hard assets and having stocks and bonds and different things like that to make you more valuable and just things like that. And I'm gonna be real with you guys, I still have a lot to learn too. I got to clean up my nomenclature. I grew up in the hood. I say things in a hood way sometimes, but don't let that deteriorate from the fact that you can learn. You can learn, and you can become better than you once were. But unfortunately, Pooh Shiesty, due to his actions, he might not get the chance to. But luckily, Gucci Mane got the chance to. And, whether you like him or not as a businessman, he's definitely expanded beyond just a rapper. He's cleaned up his image a lot. And he's not the Gucci that I grew up on. He's a expanded version of himself, as you should. But anyway, I wanted to discuss this topic because it's very near and dear to my heart, and I got a lot to say on it. I got 8 minutes worth of content to say on it, because it's like a lot of people, they just don't get it. They never will get it. And unfortunately, that's the life we play. That's the life we see. And if you don't grow and adapt, you're just going to end up in the same place saying, oh, yeah, I was a top dog back in 2019. I was a top dog back in 2020. Not anymore. Not anymore. It's a new era, bro. But anyway, this is the video I wanted to make. Hopefully you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and take this as a cautionary tale of what not to be. But anyway, I'm out. Y'all have a good one.